Hello and welcome, I'm Thomas Porteous and you're watching World of Sport on NewsX World. Let's take a look at some of the top stories from the world of sports over the past week. Mitchell Starc's 10-wicket haul and Travis Head's blistering second innings century guided Australia to a win in the first test of 2025's Ashes against England. The first match in Perth lasted 2 days after both batting orders collapse spectacularly, with Australia's 205-run chase in the final innings the only batting score to cross 200. South American football chief Alejandro Dominguez has proposed a one-off 64-team World Cup for the centennial edition in 2030, saying that the format will increase access to the beautiful game's biggest tournament. YouTuber turned boxer Jake Paul is set to take on the two-time unified world champion Anthony Joshua in Miami this December. Streaming platform Netflix will be hosting the fight as Miami's Chiesa Center next month. World number 3, Alexander Zverev led Germany to the semi-finals of this year's Davis Cup after defeating Argentina, where 8-time champion Spain await them. Spain is set to miss world number 1 Carlos Alcaraz, who is out injured. Wales will take on the New Zealand All Blacks in Cardiff as Steve Tandy's side look to end a 72-year-old winless record against New Zealand. Wales last defeated New Zealand in a rugby match in December of 1953. Now our top story of the week. The first test match between England and Australia in this edition of the Ashes series has ended in a convincing victory for Australia in Perth after a chaotic day one saw 19 wickets fall as both batting orders collapsed under 200. Last year's top scorer Travis Head scored a century as Australia chased down 205 for victory in the first test. The first day of the match saw plenty of action with 19 wickets falling as both pace attacks dominated on a fast, bouncy surface. England finished the day narrowly ahead despite being bowled out for 172 in their first innings. In the first innings, Mitchell Starc claimed a career best 7-58, which was followed by England captain Ben Stokes snapping up 5-23 in the second. However, England failed to capitalise on Australia's batting collapse and capitulated instead for just 164 in their second outing, with Mitchell Starc again claiming 3 wickets to complete a 10-wicket haul in Perth. Okay, now joining us for insights into this match is Hugh Turberwill, editor of the Cricketer magazine, live from London. Thank you very much for joining us, Hugh, here on NewsX World. Perth is known normally to be favourable to bowlers, and this match has clearly been no exception. What do you make of the bowling display in the first match of the series?
Well, what a roller coaster test match it was. England batted first and Mitchell Starc was head and shoulders above the rest of the attack with Pat Cummins and Josh Hazlewood out, of course. And it appeared that England had batted badly. Zach Crawley got a pair in the match. Harry Brooks' arrogance of imperiousness was sort of took the breath away. But Mitchell Starc was a stand-up bowler, and England looked like they'd sort of lost an opportunity to do much better than 172. Then, however, England fought back absolutely brilliantly. I mean, that was formidable. Their sort of 5-man pace attack Mark Wood didn't get any wickets, but he bowled that horrible bouncer to Cameron Green. Jofra Archer, Gus Atkinson was very accurate and probing, and then Ben Stokes. And even at lunch on day two, England looked like they were on top, but Australia's bowlers, Doggett and Boland, came to the party, as it were. A bit of a cliche, but they stepped up and got some wickets themselves. England's again were wasteful batting, and after that, Travis Head played an astonishing innings. So, yeah, Australia's attack was certainly equal to England's over the test in the end. Despite we were thinking that perhaps they would miss Hazelwood and Cummings, and I suppose probably the difference between the teams was Travis Head's amazing 100.
Yes, now there is some controversy regarding the dismissal of England's Jamie Smith. England were down 104-6 when Smith seemed to have edged a shorter delivery from Stark, and Australia appealed for caught behind. The on-field umpire gave it out, and after Australia captain Steve Smith called for review, the third umpire took almost 5 minutes to review the decision before finally declaring Jamie Smith out. What's your read on that situation?
That he was on the golf course the day before. Cricketers prepare in different ways. Of course, accidents do happen, don't they? I wouldn't want to criticise him particularly. Obviously, golf is at the centre of this England setup. Brendan McCullum, the coach, is a golf fanatic. Rob Key, the managing director of England men's cricket, is a golf fanatic. And there's been a lot of talk, a lot of banter about how this team are playing too much golf. And there has been one or two quotes about, I think it was Jordan Cox told the media that he'd got this text or phone call saying, looking forward to you joining up with the England team, bring your golf clubs. When things are going badly, England fans look for reasons why, and they're blaming golf. And there's a lot of jokes going around this morning that the fact that they finished at Perth in 2 days means that they've got extra time on the golf course. And there's an English journalist called David Hops very funnily said that they can practice with pink golf balls now ahead of the pink ball cricket test in Perth. So if Usman Khawaja injured himself on the golf course, well, that's sort of his business, really. I don't play golf much personally. I'm not a big fan of golf. I'd rather see cricketers play cricket and talk about cricket than bang on about golf all the time. But yeah, I mean, things do happen. Derek Pringle, I think, hurt himself writing a letter. Johnny Bairstow hurt himself on the golf course, didn't he? Ian Botham fell out of a golf buggy the other day. So accidents do happen, and it's one of those things, isn't it? But yeah, I'd rather hear cricketers talking about cricket rather than golf, if I'm honest.
There was also controversy about Usman Khawaja in the Australian news. There were some that speculated that the back spasms the Australian opener experienced that has kept him in the dressing room thus far was down to a day at the golf course. How do you view this?
Yeah, it's he's under a lot of pressure now. This 3 or 4 year project, as it were, or reign of Brendan McCullum, the coach from New Zealand, and they've played this belligerent brand of cricket, Bazball. He says he doesn't like the term Bazball. But, I mean, as somebody who's been known to sort of develop the Brendan McCullum brand of aggressive cricket, I wonder whether he does dislike the name. I think I'm not so sure about that. But anyway, England have played this belligerent brand of cricket, and I think that there's a theory that modern batting, test batting, isn't good enough. The technique isn't good enough to survive for long periods. So you play aggressively and you score at 5 or 6 and over. And the results were spectacular at the start. If you remember, England chased down a second innings target against India, in that match that was delayed over for a year. They also did it against New Zealand and South Africa. They won in Pakistan 3-0. But if you take those results away, the results aren't that different really. And wags are saying that really the only difference is that England are sort of either winning or losing more quickly. So they're under enormous pressure here. They've scored 172 and 164 in this match on a pretty good track. It's bouncy, but there's not a lot wrong with the Perth wicket. Certainly in the second innings, certainly Travis Head didn't struggle, did he? I mean, it's not a great wicket, but it's not. I wouldn't have thought it was 172 and 164 pitch. So he is under pressure now, and as we all know, England coaches and captains stepped down at the end of disastrous Ashes series in Australia, and he's got to turn this round because I think people are getting a bit fed up of the talk about golf and the wasteful batting when England is subsiding in 35 overs of an innings. I mean, that is just not good enough. This is Test cricket. This isn't T20 or 50 over. This is Test cricket, and England fans who have spent a lot of money to go out there to Perth expect a lot more.
Turning now to the world of football, where the qualification process for the FIFA World Cup 2026 is reaching its final stages. It's down to the playoffs now, with the group stages in European qualifiers now concluded. Some interesting results from the final round of group stage games came in Group B, where the Republic of Ireland got past a strong Hungary to make the playoffs and keep the World Cup dream alive. Thanks to a last-gasp goal by striker Troy Parrott. Parrott's goal, the winner for Ireland, came in the final minute of extra time. Across the Irish Sea, Scotland qualified for their first World Cup in 28 years. The Steve Clarke's men put on a tactical masterclass to overcome Denmark 4-2. Norwich City midfielder Kenny McLean wrote himself into Tartan Army history with his halfway strike in the dying minutes of the game. In the Caribbean, Haiti made their way to the World Cup finals, topping their World Cup qualifying group with 11 points after defeating Nicaragua 2-0 in the final group stage game. Also qualifying from the Caribbean are Curacao and Panama, with Jamaica heading to the playoffs after parting ways with their manager Steve McLaren. With just over 8 months left for football's grandest spectacle in North America, just a few more spots remain to be filled. South American football chief Alejandro Dominguez has renewed his call for the 2030 FIFA World Cup to be expanded to 64 teams. Dominguez, who is also a vice president of FIFA, described the proposal as a one-time expansion to mark the tournament's centenary, with the first World Cup held in Uruguay in 1930. The World Cup is already set to grow from 32 to 48 teams starting in 2026, hosted jointly by the United States, Canada and Mexico. For 2030, FIFA has confirmed a multi-continent format. Uruguay, Argentina and Paraguay will each stage one opening match, while the rest of the tournament, 101 games, will take place in Morocco, Portugal and Spain. Speaking at a press conference, Dominguez said the centenary edition must be special and that expanding participation would allow the event to reach more people. He reiterated that the proposal would apply only into 2030. Dominguez said he dreams of a World Cup with 64 teams and urged football authorities to open a formal debate and study the feasibility of the expansion. We move on now, and Germany are through to the Davis Cup semi-finals after a dramatic doubles win over Argentina in Malaga. Kevin Kratwitz and Tim Puetz delivered the decisive point, beating Andres Molteni and Horacio Zabelos 4-6, 6-4, 7-6 in a tense match that saw both sides hold multiple match points. The Argentinians took the first set with an early break. Germany levelled the second, and the decider was settled by a tight tiebreak that ended on Germany's fifth match point. The tie was pushed to doubles after Alexander Zverev defeated Francesco Curandolo 6-4, 7-6 following Thomas Martin Etcheverry's straight sets win over Jan-Lennard Struff. Germany now face Spain in the semi-finals. Spain, playing without Carlos Alcaraz, rely on depth instead. Joaim Munar, Pablo Carreno, Busta Pedro Martinez and double specialist Marcel Granollers. Germany enter with strong momentum from their doubles pairing and Zverev in consistent form. Spain, however, benefit from home conditions and a squad experienced in close Davis Cup matches. Saturday's semi-final pits Germany's proven double strength against Spain's squad overall depth and crowd support, setting up a balanced high-pressure contest for a place in the Davis Cup final. Listen in to what the players of Germany and Argentina had to say about the match.
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable to win that. I don't know how they did it. I mean, the third set was back and forth, so many break points for Team Argentina. I don't think Germany had any. So, of course, you know, super happy for the whole team to be through. And, you know, the tiebreak, first it looked like it was going to be an easy tiebreak for us. Then all of a sudden it's match point for Argentina on their serve. Then it's another match point for Argentina where Tim serves a second serve at 200 kilometers an hour. So it's like a lot of things happened, a lot of things went our way, and just super happy to win.
Always, in a way, it's of course tough for us to end up like that when we were so close. And but anyway, I think we feel very proud of ourselves. We fight until the end. And sometimes sports, you know, you get to your side and sometimes you get to the other side. I mean, we did everything very well before the tie. So we don't have anything to regret about our performance. We gave it all. And sport is like that, tennis is like that. Sometimes there's a few inches, it makes a difference. So we accept it. It hurts, of course, but our spirit now it's a little bit shaky, but it's gonna be very strong from tomorrow again.
Lando Norris will start from pole position for the Las Vegas Grand Prix after mastering persistent wet conditions in a challenging qualifying session. The McLaren driver and current leader in the Drivers' Championship set a best time of 1 minute 47.9 seconds, nearly 3/10 clear of Max Verstappen, to secure his third consecutive pole. Carlos Sainz delivered another standout performance for Williams, taking third place ahead of George Russell. Russell had topped both Q1 and Q2 during the heaviest rain, but could not match the pace of Norris once the final session began. Oscar Piastri will start fifth. The McLaren driver, who is Norris's closest championship rival, ran into the turn of the 12 runoff in his final attempt after going wheel-to-wheel with Racing Bulls driver Isaac Hadjar. Q1 delivered the biggest incident of the season. Alex Albon clipped the barrier exiting turn 16 in the wet conditions, breaking his front right suspension and eliminating him from qualifying. He finished 17th, also exiting in Q1, where Mercedes Junior Kimi Antonelli, Sauber's Gabriel Bortoleto, Red Bull's Yaki Tsunoda and Lewis Hamilton. The seven-time world champion ended the session at the bottom of the timesheets, unable to generate competitive pace on the wet tyre. With Norris on pole once again and championship contender Piastri starting from fifth, the grid is set for a potentially decisive race in Las Vegas, where changing weather and low grip track conditions may continue to play a major role. The heavyweight bout between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul is Paul is moving closer to reality, with promoters officially unveiling the full undercard for the December the 19th event. The fight will take place at the Quesaya Center in Miami and is scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds, with both boxers using 10-ounce gloves. The result of the match will count on both fighters' professional records. Jake Paul, 28 years old, has originally been set to fight lightweight champion Geronto Davis last week. That event was cancelled after Davis was accused of battery, false imprisonment and kidnapping. Paul then secured a December date in Miami, intending to fight before the end of the year if an opponent became available. The matchup with former heavyweight champion Joshua was confirmed shortly afterwards. Streaming platform Netflix has now released details of the undercard. In the co-main event, undisputed super featherweight champion Alisaya Baumgardner will meet Leila Boudoun in a 12-round contest. The preliminary portion of the event includes a bantamweight title fight between Chineka Johnson and Amanda Gall, and a strawweight title defense by Yocosta Val against Yadira Bustillos. Avios Griffin is also set to face Justin Cardona. Two-time Brazilian Olympian Cado Marley will make his professional debut, taking on Diarra Davis Jr., with organisers confirming that 2 additional fights will be announced in the coming weeks. In a notable addition to the card, UFC veterans Anderson Silva and Tyrone Woodley will also meet in a boxing match. Silva had been scheduled to face Chris Weidman but withdrew after Weidman suffered an injury. The event marks one of Netflix's most ambitious live sport lineups to date, combining professional boxing title fights with crossover matchups and high-profile names from combat sports. And that's a wrap on World of Sport this week. Keep tuned here on NewsX World for more updates.